good. Carry on, start zone. Red. Four. Ding 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 bing 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 it ba.
Oh, here he comes, zero car. Ooh, lost him.
Hello, take that. Oh, good. Carry on, start zone. Red. Four. Ding 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 bing 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 it ba. Take that. Oh, good. Carry on, start zone. Red. 4. Big it bop. Hello, take that. Good. Carry on, start zone. Red. 4. Big it bop. Hello, take that. Good. Carry on, start zone. Red. 4. Big it bop.
Right long, red, 4.
Ninh 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 bing 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 bingกันป่ะปั๊บปั๊บปั๊บ
Take that. Oh, good. Carry on, start long.
Ninh 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 bing 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 bingกันป่ะปั๊บปั๊บปั๊บ
Let's be honest, you want to rent a car from someone who'll see you right. So here's a few reasons to put Omega Rental Cars top of your list. Do we have a modern fleet, all fully checked and ready to roll?
Yes, we do.
Do we offer keen prices, unlimited Ks, and free additional drivers?
Yes, you do.
And do we support New Zealand motorsport because we love cars? And maybe to look a bit flash.
Yes, you do.
There you go. Omega Rental Cars, your upfront and honest car rental company. Let's be honest, you want to rent a car from someone who'll see you right. So here's a few reasons to put Omega Rental Cars top of your list. Do we have a modern fleet, all fully checked and ready to roll?
Yes, we do.
Do we offer keen prices, unlimited Ks, and free additional drivers?
Yes, you do.
And do we support New Zealand motorsport because we love cars? And maybe to look a bit flash.
Yes, you do.
There you go. Omega Rental Cars, your upfront and honest car rental company.
And a very good morning to you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Live coverage of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. This is round 2 of our National Championship, 2 of 6. Hydraulics, South Canterbury Hydraulics Rally South Canterbury. Dale Budge, Blair Bartels on the live stream this morning, BB, as you can see by those beautiful panoramic shots of the Southern Alps in the not too far distance there. She's bright and chilly this morning in this opening stage.
Yeah, it's certainly a little bit nippy when we got here this morning. Certainly still shorts weather, but as you can see, a fair coating of powder on the Southern Alps. It was quite a beautiful sunrise in the forest here this morning too. We're at the end of special stage number 1, Kākahu Forest Tahi. And this will be a really interesting stage, Dale. We saw it starting in the Berwick Forest at Otago. We're starting in the Kākahu Forest in Rally South Canterbury in this. This stage has been one where, rallies can be won and lost. And then they're back here this afternoon as well, special stage 7. We'll we won't be live streaming that stage. We'll be in special stage 6, but
Sort of bookending the day, the two challenging stages. All the drivers last night at the ceremonial opening were talking about the stage and the challenges that it will present. Straight out of the gate this morning, the difference of being in the forest and obviously where we are here towards the end of the stage. The life cycle of the trees, we're just in a period where they've felled most of the trees in this area, but through the majority of the stage it's under a canopy of forest, and the surface changes and whatnot. Going to be a little bit slippery. There's been a bit of rain around this week leading into the event, so yeah, a real challenge for them right at the start of the day, and then again at the end of the day before they head off to levels for a final blast around the circuit there, and in between a whole lot of public road stages.
yeah, absolutely. The public road stages that I guess we're so used to seeing in South Canterbury, those fast rolling hills, big, wide, just glorious stages where you can really get into a rhythm and carry some speed. As you say, this stage, at the start, still under heavy canopy and a lot of rain yesterday. So since we had our preview on Thursday night, the Thursday night recce, where we talked about a dry week leading up, that was certainly thrown out the window yesterday.
Was it what? It hosed down all day yesterday. So 3 stages to start this opening loop. The Kaku Forest Tahi, as BB says, and then into the Waitohi Long stage, and that'll be a real treat. That a terrific spectator junction midway through, where you'll see a lot of the spectators heading today to watch, and then the famous Mount Gay Road to finish the opening loop before the service at Cave. So 3 stages in the morning loop, then off to another 3 south of Timaru in the late morning, early afternoon. We'll be at a special stage 6 Southburn, which gets underway about 12:30 this afternoon, and then after a service in Temuka, the cars and drivers head back this way for the second run, the Kakahu Forest Rua, and then a blast around Levels Raceway to finish, and that's always an entertaining way to finish the rally. Those last 2 stages, BB, I tell you what, it doesn't matter what kind of lead you have in your class, it's not going to be enough with the sting in the tail of a second pass through this forestry stage, and then even Levels, we've seen classes decided at Levels.
Absolutely. So the opening cars are into the stage. And already we're seeing, this is 7.6 Ks into the first stage. Hayden Padden, who's running as a non-championship car, 9.4 seconds up the road from Ben Hunt. So Ben Hunt, the first of our cars in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. Robbie Stokes registered a brief hazard at 300 metres into the stage. He has dropped 33 seconds to Ben Hunt in 7 kilometres. So there's a story to tell there. We will bring you more. You can see how hot the action is in the mobile van. It's she's a bit steamy.
Certainly is steamy. So that's interesting. Robbie, talking to him last night at the ceremonial opening, forestry has been a strength of his rallying tradition. He grew up obviously in those forestry roads around Nelson, but he sort of said, I've spent 10 years in Auckland now. I haven't spent a lot of time in the forest during that time, so that advantage that I once had maybe
I think that might have been Ben you were speaking to rather than Robbie.
Ben is what I meant. And we sort of felt that that maybe there wasn't going to be much of a difference. Both of them obviously in exactly the same machinery. So for Robbie to have dropped 30 seconds, I wonder if there is something to do with that hazard that he may have triggered early in the stage.
Yeah, we're waiting on a split time for Jack Stokes. Jack Hawkswood 9.9 seconds behind Hunt. So
yeah, which suggests that there must be something that went astray for Robbie there, maybe a spin or something. So it is early. There's plenty of time to make that back, but obviously not an ideal way to start for Robbie Stokes in the Stokes Motorsport Skoda Rally 2 car. Different looking Robbie too last night when you're talking to him. It just sort of felt a lot more relaxed, a lot more chill. He looks to be enjoying his sport again, which is great to see, because he's had a couple of difficult years, but seems to have found a new lease of life. And man, he was spectacular at Otago a month or so back.
Yeah, seeing first split there for Jack Stokes too, 27 seconds down. So obviously very, very tricky conditions in there. And as we wait for our zero car to come through, so a little bit of a gap until we see some rally cars. Nice shot there of the MRF Tyres banner, of course.
Geez, that looks like it was put up well. Who did that?
Oh, superb work, I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think if we're being honest, that was the work of Chris Brokenshire, while you and I ably...
I held one of the cables for a while.
And I watched you do it, because that sort of work can't be done unsupervised. So yeah, if we look at that championship picture coming in, obviously Ben Hunt taking the lead with the round win, but didn't take the day win, so he got 42 of the possible 44 points. Means he's got a 4-point lead over Robbie Stokes. Josh Marston and Jack Hawkswood equal in third place on 26, so a little bit of ground to make up. But as we see our zero car now, fantastic drone shots that we have. So they sweep through. It's quite convenient that they've managed to fell the trees, and there'll be plenty to see on the live stream here. This is Gary Cliff driving the zero car, Mitsubishi Evo 3. Beautifully presented car too.
So Hayden Padden talked to him last night, and obviously grew up around these parts. Said he's starting to feel his age when you can remember going through a full life cycle of trees whilst competing. So I did point out that the likes of Neil Allport have gone through 3 or 4 life cycles of trees at Maramarua. So
yes, definitely.
You can't feel old until that happens.
It'll be interesting for the two-wheel drive guys through here too. We talk about how slippery it's going to be. Imagine what it's going to be like for the two-wheel drive guys. In the NZRC two-wheel drive battle. Just the 2 cars here this weekend, Bryn Jones and Tim Nakasi, but that's going to be really close. And Tim makes no secret of the fact that he likes the forestry stuff. He works in forestry, and
not as keen on despite his Welsh heritage, he's not quite as keen on the forestry stuff, or traditionally hasn't been. Though he told me, having done recce through here, he feels like it's not as challenging as some of the stuff that he didn't enjoy. Berwick Forest was a much tighter road, much tighter stage, where the trees were a little bit closer to the car. He sort of said he doesn't think he'll be at such a disadvantage in here. So interesting to see how that plays out in a little way on. So we won't be too far away from seeing first car on the road. It'll be Hayden Padden, non-championship entrant this year. The AP4 car.
Yeah, of course, focusing on the Australian Championship campaign, just like Possum did.
So we can confirm that is water and not frozen. Just. Definitely ice on the windscreen this morning. It is a beautiful day, though. Man, we've had some real good fortune weather-wise at this event over the years, haven't we?
You had to say it, didn't you?
Well, it's not going to cloud over and turn to rubbish now. We've already had it. It's gone. It's not coming back.
Yeah,
it's another stunning day, and it's going to be that way for the rest of the afternoon, which is really cool. But yeah, beautiful shots in the distance of the sun creeping up over the white peaks of the Southern Alps.
And while it is cool, we have had cooler down here, and we've had years where the risk of ice has been quite high. I don't think we're going to see that this year. It is just sort of that 3-4 degrees above freezing.
Hearing that Jack Stokes might have stopped on the stage.
Yeah, so that's wasn't he just the sensation of the opening round?
Yeah, some trouble already. So Stokes Motorsport crew had a dream run. It really was a rewarding run at Otago, with both of those cars battling for the lead throughout the 2 days, and really it was right at the end that Jack fell out of contention. So a little bit of issue for both Stokes cars in the stage as we hear it. Hopefully nothing major. Robbie also triggering a couple of hazards through the stage, but still running.
Yeah, he's dropped over a minute to Ben Hunt at the 13-kilometre split, so...
Yeah, I'm guessing all is not very happy in the Stokes camp right at the moment. So fingers crossed both those cars can get out of the stage and see what they can salvage through the rest of the day, but not an ideal start.
Since we see Hayden Padden now, Josh Marston lighting up the split second fastest to Hunt, 5.5 seconds back.
Yeah, I think he's a real dark horse this weekend, isn't he, Josh? With knowledge of the tyre.
He certainly was a lot more comfortable on the super soft tyre than anyone else, and I think that with the cooler temps, that's going to be an advantage, particularly in the wet forestry. So you keep an eye on Josh across the day. Emma Gilmore, third fastest, 7.6 seconds off Hunt at the first split, so a second a kilometre down. Then Jack Hawkswood, who's cleared the second split, and he is 21 seconds. Robbie Stokes 46 seconds off Hunt. So it seems to be a little bit more, I guess, in line with the pace you'd expect to see. So as we see Patton now working his way down the hill. And triggering another hazard, Robbie Stokes. So he's it's obviously very, very slippery. Championship this weekend, just out for basically some skids. Not a bad excuse to get out and about and have some fun.
That'll be Hayden heading down to the flying finish. We're right at the end of the stage. See him there maybe in just a second.
So as we see Ben Hunt, Tony Ralston, championship leaders in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, and of course we should take the opportunity to thank the Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance, our sponsors that allow us to bring you coverage like this. And so Patton's benchmark 17:33.7 will obviously not massively relevant to the championship battle, but it gives us a little bit of a benchmark. So we're probably expecting Ben Hunt's time, judging off the splits, to be around 18 minutes, maybe just under the 18-minute mark. Over 22 kilometres, so quite a low average speed compared to what we will see across the rest of the rally.
Good start from Ben this morning though, the Skoda New Zealand Fabia Rally 2 car.
That long corner bias, it just sort of opens and then tightens a little bit again, so it's a tricky wee corner, but Ben certainly making it look pretty easy, and that's why he's a 3-time New Zealand Rally champion. So we'll wait for that time. We'll have a little bit of a gap back to Robbie Stokes with that time he's dropped.
I wonder if it could be a puncher or something for Robbie, potentially.
I wouldn't have thought so, because the time losses dropped.
Right.
So I suspect it would be more like maybe a spin and a backup or something like that. Of course, when the car comes in the shop, we'll get a bit of a better idea if there's any signs of damage or anything like that on the car.
Hearing Hayden McKenzie's also triggered a hazard in the stage as well, at the same place that Robbie did. Jack Stokes is still stopped in the stage. That's really, really disappointing for a guy who was so impressive out of the gate on debut in Cat 1. The Stokes Motorsport Full Fiesta AP4 stopped in the stage. Hopefully they can get going again. That's going to hurt. Championship battle already. Two of the closest protagonists to Ben Hunt having difficulty, as we see Robbie now in the Stokes Motorsport Skoda Fabia Rally 2.
So it looks like the car's tracking all fine. Yeah, working its way down the hill, so certainly, yeah, it was a very impressive first run. He's had a couple of tests, so it's a frustrating start for Robbie to be losing this time to Ben. It's certainly identified Ben Hunt's time through a 17:51.1. He said it was just amazing the way the car turns and works.
So coming down the hill to corner where our commentary vantage point is. Beautiful shots from the drone. See that elevation just around the outside of this corner from where we see it. The car's nice and straight, so it doesn't appear to be a major drama for Robbie.
No, still pushing on pretty hard, so we'll see what the time is, see if he's able to claw back any of that margin. It was 46.2 seconds at the 13-kilometre split, as now we hear the 3-cylinder Toyota Yaris of Jack Stokes. So he's sort of closed, Jack Hawkswood.
You can noticeably see the gap change there, can't you?
Yeah, correct, and this was a 2-minute gap, remember, because Jack Stokes was in there as well, and we've seen him stopped.
So this is a good run from Jack by all accounts, and he has a few demons from the stage last year where it all came unstuck for him and
yeah, absolutely
went out whilst essentially leading the championship. So Ben Hunt sitting a time just 0.4 of a second slower than what had been the stage record by Hayden in 2022.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, it's a really good indication of the progression of the speed within the championship. when those stage records were being set, they were sort of up the road, and everyone's going, man, how do you match those? Well, this continues to be a theme, and I think it highlights too the performance of the MRF tyre, because of course that stage record would have been set in tyre category, so fantastic tyre that's really, really spiced up the championship and working well for all the teams. It's there's a lot of factors that make it the right option to have, cost as well. So we're still waiting on a time for Robbie Stokes to come through for the stage.
Dylan Thompson now back in the championship this weekend, and hopefully we'll see him a couple more times through the year. The older model Subaru Legacy, Subaru Impreza.
So Robbie Stokes' time through, he's a minute 22.4 seconds down on Hunt. So it's a big chunk of time to lose.
Well, we said it was going to be a game changer out of the gate, and it's certainly proven to be that. So two of the major title contenders having some difficulty, unfortunately both from the same team.
And look at the way Dylan's going to be working a lot harder. This car not as nimble as the AP4.
But it'll be minimise the damage in this stage, and then when they get to the public roads, that's where all of a sudden that car can have a bit more of an advantage with that top end speed, yeah?
Yeah, 2-litre engine in that one. So Jack Hawkswood's time through, 39.3 seconds slower than Hunt, 43 seconds faster than Robbie Stokes.
And again, as we say, exercising some of those demons from last year. I'm sure the Jack will feel like the shackles have been released now and get out into those public road stages and see him maybe throw a bit of a challenge Ben's way. So Emma Gilmore, Vantage New Zealand Citroen C3.
And all quite close in this group. So at the final split point, Emma 17.3 seconds off Hunt, Thompson 18.5 seconds off, and Jack Hawkswood 21 seconds off. So it's all very, very close. But Emma on a bit of a charge. She had some really good speed at Otago. A bit of bad luck. Got that rock stuck in the wheel rim, which gave her a puncture. Basically broke the rim and all the air came out the inside in the first stage. But looks like she is
just a bit slow here, eh?
Yeah, she's. Something's not right there. That's touring. That's
Well, that's disappointing too, because she had been on the pace, as you said. So right towards the end of the stage, a drama is Josh Marston.
Yeah.
RDL Barina, yeah.
That split time, only 7.1 seconds off Hunt to the final split. So
wow.
Obviously dust is not going to be an issue with him catching Emma here. But we'll need to try and find out what the issue is with Emma Gilmore. Is it something that they can retrieve? Because there's still 2 more stages before service. In the meantime, Jack Hawkswood's time, 1/10 of a second faster than Dylan Thompson over 18 and a half minutes of stage. 2 very different styles of cars. So all very interesting. But yeah, we would expect Emma Gilmore's time, so she's dropped 23 seconds to those 2 that we were talking about being in the 3-way close battle. And we will wait for Josh Marston's time. Hayden McKenzie back mobile, so that's a good sign. And he's dropped 27 seconds. So g'day to everyone tuning in from London, Ireland, Scotland, Belgium, Vanuatu, USA, and of course New Zealand. Hope you're enjoying the coverage of beautiful scenic Timaru.
So brisk old morning in the south here as Hayden McKenzie comes into shot. Albany Toyota Yaris.
Yeah, a little 3-cylinder out of the GR, so quite a different motor. Another one with some demons to exercise. The last time the stage ran in this configuration, he didn't make it through. Ended up off in the bushes, so he'll be happy to just work through those last couple of corners down the hill. This last section of the road, to be fair, we drove in from the finish early in the morning as we go to a replay of Hayden McKenzie. The road leading up to here is fantastic condition. Really solid base, obviously it's a working area of the forest, so it's had a lot of heavy traffic over it.
It's job by Mackenzie.
So Marston's time 15.4 seconds off Hunt. He slots into second place. Really strong start. Jack Hawkswood currently sitting in third, and he is 39 seconds away from the lead. As we see James Worker, one of the non-championship cars in the Mitsubishi Evo 6.
He was very impressive at Otago, James Worker. Good battle with Caleb McDonald through two-day event there.
So we're hearing that Emma Gilmore had triggered a hazard at 16.4 kilometres, so I don't know whether there's maybe been some damage done, but was a very, very tentative finish to the stage for Emma, and
she dropped quite a bit of time. This looks a little bit slow as well for a moment there. I'm just imagining this. Maybe not.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, there is something wrong, eh?
I would suspect maybe a lack of brakes, judging by the early lifting off. And that's, in these slippery conditions, it's not hard to do. To cock the brakes, it's so tricky in there, and when you're not that confident, you maybe just get a bit heavy on the brakes, you overheat them, and that situation becomes worse because then you don't have them, you try and push them harder, the fluid becomes hotter and hotter, and it's a bit of a disaster. As we see Caleb McDonald, so he's our leading Rally Challenge competitor.
Took the win at Otago last month, or is it bigger alongside?
Yeah, we think it's chilly. Imagine what it's like for poor old Larissa coming over from Queensland. It all looks well in Caleb's world there. He's pressing on all right.
It's a good battle in that Rally Challenge four-wheel drive class. We'll see Gavin Feast shortly. He'll be in the mix. And then a whole bunch of those H6 Subarus. Brian Green in the mix as well.
We talked about that NZRC two-wheel drive battle at the first split, 0.2 of a second between in Jones's favour.
He'll take that as a win. That'll be a big win for Bryn if he can come out of this with a somewhat of any kind of advantage, really.
Yeah, correct. I think he was very much in the minimise the damage.
Absolutely. As we see Mike Tall, Matt Richards, one of the non-championship contenders in the Mitsubishi Mirage.
Yeah, he's running as part of the Mainland Rally Series, which obviously runs across the South Island, and that's a fantastic feeder series to the New Zealand Rally Championship.
Looks a pretty handy peddler. Been around the scene for a while now.
Yeah, so this has got all the Mitsubishi Evo running gear in it, but obviously in the smaller and shorter body shell of the Mitsubishi Mirage. So plenty of wick, and I think when he gets out onto the open road stages, look out for Mike in that all-comers class. He'll be very, very quick. Tell you what, Gavin Feast, just 1.9 seconds off Caleb McDonald at the final split.
That's encouraging early from the Plenty-based driver. We
can hear him coming down the hill because it's a distinctive Subaru note that I can hear in the background while we watch Mike coming down the hill. But Gavin spent a lot of time in forestry, so he's not adverse to a bit of rallying amongst the trees. And,
look at the gap that he's made up. You can see Feasty right behind Mike Tall there.
The new co-driver too, Taronga's best baker, JP Vandermees, on the notes. It's interesting that a few of the runners we've just seen of late are backing off quite heavily for this right-hander after us, which I guess something tricky there. Slippery bit of road, and I'm hardly going to say that I'm going to do it better.
Distinctive sound of Marcus Van Klink in the Mazda RX-8. And this is probably not a stage that Marcus was overly looking forward to in this thing. Look forward to getting out on those public road stages where that horsepower would be more of an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Marcus, coming off a pretty serious pre-season crash, so we were likely to actually see him as part of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship in the historic class with the Mazda RX-7.
Oh, he's just gone straight ahead at the junction there. And just trying to find reverse.
Yeah, not as easy as you might think with sequential gearboxes.
Yeah, we found that out at the simulator on Thursday night. Some of us did.
The House of Sports simulation. That was good fun.
That
And you
was
keep an
good
eye
fun.
on the coverage. So Clinky with a new aerodynamic device there. Check out the flames out the back of
Well,
that
the
car.
Flames have just got rid of it, I think. Yeah.
Torched it.
So Clinky will be looking forward to seeing the end of the stage.
And Dave Neal back in the co-driver's seat there, so getting the band back together. And should behind him will be Dean Buist, and that gap was already getting a bit closer. Just listen to trying to get, it's close to 400 horsepower trying to put down through the rear wheels.
You're right, they're really lifting off that corner, aren't they?
Yeah, mate, I don't think there'd be a whole heap of sunstrike there, but maybe just the shade and the change of light. So we see Dean Buist and Carl Celeste, or we're about to see, we can hear the glorious sound of a BDA escort coming through the forest. And they were quite close, so on the splits, Dean just 1.7 seconds down on Clinky at the first split. Of course, Dean's been a busy man of late as the MRF tyres agent through his Palmside business.
Terrific job at Otago, Dean Buist. You start getting praise from Chris Meek, you know you're doing a few things right.
Just listen to that, Budgie. What a better way to start your Saturday morning than with the glorious noise of a BDA.
Your duck shooters aren't so keen on it, but
there was a couple of them around break of day as well.
Graham Ferguson, Ross Moody now, another Ford Escort, heading over from Greymouth.
So in the old iconic Massport colours, and of course that car of Dean Buist once sported the Massport colours too, before going into the Dean's rebuilt it in the inky tulloch colours. That number plate traces its history back to 1977 with the likes of Ari Vartner. This is a replica, but a very nice replica, and Ferg quite the competitor, to be fair.
Yeah, nicely done. So we're about to see the two NZRC two-wheel drive competitors. Should be line up stern. Bryn Jones and Tim Mackesy.
Yeah, and Jones 3.7 seconds up at the second split. So that'll be, as you say, a really, I think, for Bryn as well as for Tim, Tim really knew that this was his opportunity to attack and try and take some time. Bryn knew that that's what Tim was going to do, and that it's probably conditions that everyone thought would favour Tim. So if he can pull this off, this will be a big start for the young fella, and really give him some confidence. When they get out on the public road stuff, Bryn will be a lot more comfortable with where he's at.
Yeah, really cool talking to Bryn last night as well. Just sort of indicating how stoked he was that there was some real competition in this class. He doesn't want to just turn up and win a title by default. He wants to go out there and earn and win a title, and Tim provided some serious competition for him. He had to work his backside off in Otago to get that win. So exciting times in this class. Good two-way battle between the two of them.
Yeah, and speaking of good two-way battles, 4.1 seconds between Caleb McDonald and Gavin Feast for the Rally Challenge lead.
So nice job there by Bryn. And of course the key when you're in essentially a two-horse race in the title battle is minimising dramas, just making sure that there aren't those. We saw it last year. Dave Strong had an issue at Otago and wasn't able to get points, and for the rest of the championship he was basically just chasing and hoping that Willie Hawes made a similar mistake.
Yeah, correct.
A similar drama.
So Tim and Lauren working their way down the hill now.
So Clinky, just seeing here, Clinky, despite that little overshoot, still 3 seconds quicker than he did this stage in 2021.
Yeah, it's not a bad effort. He would have been on a bit of a mission. 1 litre turbo power plants in the Rally 4 cars, so they've got that offbeat 3-cylinder sound to them. So we'll keep an eye on the times. Bryn Jones, a 2 minute 12.0.
So should be getting into a little run of H6s now, I think.
Should be Wayne Muckle next.
Oh, Wayne Muckle, sorry, excuse me.
Yep, in the Mitsubishi Evo 10.
Kind of his home event these days, isn't it?
It's about as close as you get for Ashburton, because we're sort of about halfway back up again in the Kakahoo Forest, and that's not going well. It's not going well at all.
I can hear another. Oh no, it's in.
So he's overshot it. This is the same spot where Clinky went up the wrong way.
That's right. That's a little bit better. I was trying to figure out where the hairpin was on. So a bit of action on the live stream as Wayne now works his way down the hill. And he'd already dropped 12 seconds to Jeff Judd, so I don't think Jeff Judd's going to be a long way behind him in the H6.
Here he comes.
And here he comes. And he's done the same thing.
They're all doing it. The tape's disappeared and they're all getting it wrong.
So, a little bit easier to get reverse in the H6 with the H-pattern gearbox. With the sequential, you've got to work your way down, and then sometimes they don't quite engage, and they'll have a lockout on them. Lever you've got to pull to stop you accidentally getting neutral or reverse. It's Wayne and his son Thomas getting out and having a skid. Now we hear that distinctive H6. And if you're new to the New Zealand Rally Championship, the H6, the 3-litre Subaru engine, naturally aspirated, it's a really fantastic cost-effective way to get into rallying, and they've actually set up a series for them to run around the South Island now. So this is round 2 of the H6 Cup. And
just to see Juddy back in that car as opposed to
a couple of the escorts he's still got in the shed.
And there'll be quite a battle between the likes of him, Josh Keeley, Ben Cuban.
Yeah, well, so they're at the last split, Josh was close to 14 seconds up on Juddy, and then 1.6 seconds up on Ben Cuban. So it's all going to be pretty close.
It's encouraging. Like, he has been a real find in the championship the last year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Since a couple of Clubman's events at the end of last year, and then joining the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship this year, he's really come on leaps and bounds and shown some impressive speed, and getting through this tricky forestry stage with a straight car, shown some real maturity too.
Ben Huben next up, and another one of the H6s.
Yeah, so we saw Ben in the ex-Richard Mason car, and he's got a busy weekend because he's on a plane tonight, so he's basically from the finish straight up to Christchurch Airport, and then first round of the North Island Rally Series tomorrow up at Ruarangi Road in Whangarei, which we will be later on this year to finish off the championship in November. But Ben and Corin Watson, as they come down the hill, so this is the car Glenn Alcorn finished second in the Group A Challenge at Otago, and Ben right in the battle with Josh Keeley.
See if again really lifting off. You're right, there's something that is causing everyone to take a lot of caution in that corner.
So next up should be Chris Ramsey, the AP2, so effectively built on the AP4 platform in terms of suspension. It's got a 2.5 litre Millington 4-cylinder engine in it, sequential gearbox. It went very well in the...
So big thanks to those sponsors again. Of course, Cream Insurance, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, and our principal title sponsor, Brian Green Property Group. And the leading contenders are about to enter Special Stage 2, Waitohi Long. So we'll keep you up to date with some times from that as well, as we see Chris Ramsey. Oh,
that's actually Darren.
I was going to say that's Darren Galbraith.
So he's caught and past him because Rambo's right behind him. So normally helping us out on the live stream.
He was giving you grief about your seating too.
Got a new motor.
The local knowledge. Not that he spent that much time in the forest, I'm sure.
No, I think he's further down the field. Right?
So, great start to the morning from Darren Galbraith.
And in the Hudson family battle, that's dad passing daughter, because Amy Hudson co-driving for Chris Ramsey, Rocky Hudson with Darren Galbraith, and we saw Lisa Hudson with Jeff Judd, and so Darren made his way round the corner, whereas Juddy had the
Straight
overshoot.
ahead.
So the little Fiestas, I mean, these STs, this car has had some names in it. Launched the career of some guy, Ben Hunt.
He turned out to go all right, didn't he?
Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to him. Darren on a charge. How does he make his way around the bottom corner? Turns it in nicely. And this will be a really good graphic demonstration of front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive. Oh, Chris, beautiful camera work. Just fading nicely from one car into the other. Plenty of power there. Rainbow trying to get to the ground.
So it should be Dave Strong, I think, next in the Honda Jazz.
So Ben Huben getting the most, taking the advantage in that H6 battle, 5.8 seconds faster than Josh Keeley. Of course, we'll see round one winner Kevin Laird up shortly, and he'll be right on the back of Thomas Paul, Ian Warren. Thomas Paul has registered a hazard at some stage. Not quite sure if he has managed to keep moving.
Yeah, it says mobile again, so it was stopped sort of
fantastic.
midway through the stage. So that's it was supposed to be a really good battle between Ian Warren, Thomas Paul and Darren Galbraith, but Desert G looks like he's on a charge early, and issues for our champion from Otago.
And Ian Warren, who was running with no notes at Otago, is his first time on pace notes, so big adjustment for Ian.
Thomas Paul will be disappointed. I think we spoke to him last night, he was pretty excited about this event. He's done it a few times, thought he might have that knowledge to call upon.
Dave Strong should be next that we see, and man, what a handful of a car to fire through the forest.
Yeah, I don't think he was looking forward to the forestry stage.
No.
He will, of course, be licking his lips when they get out into some of those public road stages, those big long straights. This supercharged Honda Jazz.
Yes. If you haven't seen it before, so
it's a
take a little 1300 Honda Jazz, front engine, front wheel drive. Get rid of that. Don't be needing that. We'll go with the supercharged 3.5 litre V6, situated behind the driver and co-driver, and powering the rear wheels. So as we see Dave and Rob Scott, and they're another one doing the mad dash up to Ruarangi Road tomorrow.
What's he peddling up there?
He's got the S2000 Fiesta, which has got the Honda V6 in it as well. So a little bit hard for Dave now that he's sold his business and he's not a Honda wrecker.
So we see Greeny on a charge right up behind him as well.
Absolutely. So just hearing Darren Galbraith 1 second slower than Marcus Van Klink.
I think we might hear a little bit about that later on today.
And yeah, Greeny looking very strong. It's drawing on a couple of years of experience that he's got.
Tell you what, some experience in those last two cars. Brown a little offers a little bit, but the other three?
Yeah, it's probably, I would say, 120 years quite comfortably combined of rallying.
So Stephen Gill, Grant Malloy in the Ford Escort. Stephen will have his eyes on Dean Buist.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the Whole Bay powered Escort, ex-Derek Asen car. So running as part of the historic championship in the Bryan Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. And did say it'll be a bit of a handful through the forest. It was a strong contender. Like, it wasn't quite on the pace of Dean Buist, but let's face it, most people who are actually human aren't.
Be a good battle with the likes of Andy Martin, I think.
Yeah.
See how he sort of shapes up. Hopefully Andy has a bit more fortune here.
Yeah, they've converted the car back to carburetors, was injected, and you get a bit more performance out of that, but the issue was the throttle was sticking. So Dave Strong threw a 21:39.2. Put that in perspective, Darren Galbraith's time, which I think will be a 2:03.8, the fastest two-wheel drive time we've seen so far. Dean Buist on a 19:58.6. Tim Mackesy just edging out Bryn Jones, 1.4 seconds between the pair. As we see
Ian Warren, is it?
Ian Warren and Brodie Catamol. So we do have a gap where Thomas Paul was meant to be, and not quite sure where he's going to slot in.
We understand he is mobile again, so that's encouraging. So just looking at our leading contenders that are in Special Stage 2 this morning, and being 3.9 seconds up.
Oh! So,
giving the bank a little kiss there.
yeah, absolutely, and that's Kevin Laird we can see in the background too with Ella Jones.
So as I say, Ben nearly 4 seconds up on Robbie at the first split in Special Stage 2.
And for Robbie, that's going to be a huge confidence blow, losing so much time early on. Really is a case of just resetting and maximising what's left of the day.
So a couple of cars here in
Yeah, the little
reasonably close proximity, excuse me.
1600 little Pulsar. Great to have Ian as part of the Rally Challenge two-wheel drive class, and then behind him Kevin Laird, who's part of the Rally Challenge four-wheel drive class and the Group A Challenge as well. And I think also part of that 86 Cup Series. Kev's time actually right on par. He was a second off Ben Huband at the final split.
Well, there's not much in that battle, eh? It is one of the battles to watch in this Ryan Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. That's Thomas Paul, is it not?
That is Thomas Paul, so we'll have a look and see if there's any giveaways as to what might have been the case, or whether it was a possibility in forestry too of punctures and all sorts of things. That possibility seems to be decreased, touch wood, when you run an MRF. They've been an incredibly reliable tyre.
Certainly have. Doesn't look like there's any punctures on that car, though.
Well, if that was the case,
unless he stopped it,
stopped and changed it, Budgie, because we know he stopped at some point.
So Ray Wilson, I think, should be. That's Ray Wilson.
That is
Tony
Ray
Cresswell,
Wilson.
Subaru Impreza.
So we got out of him that he's been here a couple of times before, and first time was a few haircuts ago. That was the extent of the information we got out of him in the start room yesterday.
Not usually one to do a lot of talking, is he?
No. To be fair, Ray, absolute legend of the sport, and through the 1980s and 90s, he was a real front runner in the New Zealand Rally Championship.
Super consistent too, wasn't he?
Wasn't the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship back then, but Brian Green was sure part of it.
Certainly was, yep. Dave Ollis?
No,
that's
David
not
non-starter.
Oh, is he?
So
that's Stewie Reid, is it?
Yeah, that is Stewie Reid.
So
just listen to that escort, would you?
A little bit different for Stewie this time round. Last year he was in the
AP4
Mirage. Stewie back over from Australia. SR Automotive on the livery.
Just listen to it sing. Actually, just interesting looking at the overall times from stage 1 too.
There's a couple of cars here. Andy Martin is one of them, and is it Andrew Sim behind him?
It is. It's that car of Andrew Sim's an all-comers 2.5 litre escort, I believe. It, Hunt well within a second a kilometre of Paddon through the forestry stage. So it's pretty impressive performance. But yeah, Andy Martin, he's I think still getting his head around the escort a little bit. He's 16 seconds, 17 seconds off Stephen Gill at the final split. Of course, basically didn't get any mileage in at Otago, and that's a really tricky way to start the season. You end up 250 kilometres less than everyone else.
Sight of one escort chasing another down the hill.
What more could a man want?
And his business, of course, sponsoring some of the stages.
Yep, the bunker.
Good place to be later on tonight, I suspect.
I don't know, we'll have to find out.
First hand look at it, I suspect.
Certain things that you just got to look into. But yeah, I mean, obviously this stage opening up, but then the next two stages, the next 5 stages are just totally different in nature. This is tight, winding, demanding, slippery, and then you get out onto those public road stages, and it's a totally different ball game.
Hearing an issue for Hayden McKenzie in special stage 2, which is disappointing. He looked right through here. So Hayden is through special stage 2, so not too far away from our championship contenders.
No. So Jack Hawkswood on a pretty strong run in the second special stage, just 8.6 seconds off Hunt at 17 kilometres.
So Australian visitor here, Richard Galley, also Claire Bacchini in the BMW 320i.
Yeah, beautiful sounding car, this one, and he's got Deb Kibble right up behind him. By the looks of that. So it's certainly a stage where I think four-wheel drive would help, and Deb, in fact, stopping to let Deb pass. So nice bit of sporting driving there.
Oop, and she's gone up they've both gone the wrong way. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear. Are they going to figure this out? Yep. Oh no.
Deb has.
Yep. Deb's figured it out. Oh, Clinky, what have you done?
And the handbrake turn around there for Deb. Nicely done, on your way. And the BMW's back on stage as well. So a little bit of entertainment on the live stream.
Gotta love the drone to see that too. The drone footage. Spectacular shots down at the basin there.
You'd have to think Harry Silcock won't be far from
joining this party,
making this maybe a 3-way battle as well. He was a wee way back. The little Starlet, again, a bit of a tricky beast. And actually, I'll tell you what, Paul Cross is up on, despite being a couple of hundred horsepower down, up on Dave Strong by some 30 seconds. Wow!
Wow, that's a turn up for the books, all right.
Yeah, in the open two-wheel drive ranks.
I suspect he might be all of that when we get onto those public road stages, but
yeah, I suspect so. I think that little Honda Jazz will eat long straights.
But that's a statement early from Paul Cross. So.
I would never doubt it, or he's never lacked ability.
No, absolutely not. So time through from special stage 2, Ben Hunt 12.56.2, Robbie Stokes through 22.1 seconds slower at 13.17.3.
Give you an idea of the variation in...
another one gone up the wrong way.
And that's Harry Silcock. So Ben Hunt winning the opening stage an average of 75.12 kilometres an hour. We would suspect he's on track to do the same in special stage number 2 at 122.65 kilometres an hour. So it's just a slight different...
So we've got 2 cars here too. I think that's Paul chasing down Harry.
Yeah, will be. The Toyota AE86. And new co-driver for Paul this weekend, Janie Blair unable to get away, so Ben Trevelyan filling the void.
He is going to be wanting to pass Harry here. He's on a charge. I hope this doesn't cost Paul some time.
Yeah, only a few corners to go, but we'll see what transpires. But yes, the nature of the stage being so different to, I guess, the remainder of the event, you do see a bit of catching and passing, and thankfully with the rain yesterday, you see there's no issue with dust, which is, there's nothing worse than catching. You can't get close enough to someone. You've got the ability to push to pass with the rally safe system.
Here's another two cars together. As we see, Jack Hawkeswood post the second quickest time in Special Stage 2, 16.4 seconds behind Ben Hunt, 5.7 up the road from Robbie.
So this should be Rory Lawn and Amy Keeley.
Amy with a good run.
And up the wrong road. Yeah, so that was Amy going up the wrong road. And is she going to, see the marks, do a U-turn. Rory Lawn coming to join. So hopefully...
Rory might have figured it out.
Hopefully...
Yep.
It's a bit of a frightening prospect, to be fair.
No give way to you right there.
Yeah. So Amy and Grant Mara work their way down the hill now.
So unfortunate, no sign of Jack Stokes getting out of the stage, stuck somewhere in it. And that is disappointing for a guy who really impressed at Otago.
Yes, Amy just running in the H6 Cup this year, not in the NZRC as she has been previously. Although we still have family representation with brother Josh, and she'll be losing a bit of time in the family battle there. And little Starlet making its way through too, so certainly four-wheel drive, as we talked about. Some handy thing to have in this situation.
Dylan Thompson, fourth fastest through. He's dropped 30 seconds to Robbie Stokes. So Dylan, who was impressive through the opening stage, dropping a little bit of time. As another driver goes up the wrong way. That is Josh Silcock, I think.
Yep, that'll be Josh. So they'll be talking about that one over the family dinner table.
How much time did you lose going up the wrong way? Josh was very, very impressive at Otago. Just the little 1300 startup, but he was very, very quick. He comes from not bad lineage, to be fair. The old Silcock dynasty. Emma Gilmore's dropped some more time, unfortunately, in Special Stage 2. She is slower than Thompson again, so nearly a minute behind Ben Hunt in that stage. So whatever the issue is, not resolved, which is really unfortunate. Emma just not able to buy any luck the opening part of this championship. She finished so strongly last year, thought that just maybe she'd find herself in the title battle.
Not to be.
Josh Marston also through the stage, and he is fourth quickest, so 3.8 seconds slower than Robbie Stokes. It's 25 seconds to Ben in there.
Hearing gearbox issue for Hayden McKenzie, so that will be game over, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Man, he hasn't had any luck either, has he? Here we go. Time's up on the screen. So that's after Special Stage 2. Ben Hunt leading Josh Marston. Jack Hawkeswood completing the podium spots as it stands. Dylan Thompson, fourth overall at the moment. Robbie Stokes and Emma Gilmore. So we just see a little pause in proceedings. Some of our all-comers entries. Looks at Keith Edwards and John Simpson. Adrian Jones all...
Yep, so that sounds like an Evo potentially coming down the hill. I think we're on a battery change on the drone as well, so hopefully no one's shooting up the wrong road without us watching. So we see Keith now coming into view, the Mitsubishi Evo 5. just working his way down the hill. It's actually not a bad history, that car. Jeff Hill, Gary Cliff, Jason Clark. And then Keith got his hands on it. Next up should be Adrian Jones and a little Toyota Corolla.
Big thanks again to our partners. You can see on screen there: Cream Insurance, MRF Tyres, title sponsor Brian Green Property Group, and Omega Rental Cars.
And fantastic too at the prize giving tonight. Brian Green, the guest of honour. So fantastic opportunity to hear some of the life and times of Brian Green, because man, that guy's got a story or two he can tell.
You ply him with a little bit of red wine, and I'm sure he will be extremely entertaining. Greenie. There's a little bit of a gap here again. That sun really starting to take effect now, up above the trees, so forest now fully bathed in sunlight.
Turns out I've got feeling in my fingers.
Yeah, it's almost balmy. So we'll be off in around about 15 odd cars as we see Adrian Jones, is it? No, John Simpson, that's the Subaru, isn't it?
It's Josh Marston through. He retains his second place now, 14.4 seconds ahead of Jack Hawkswood in third, and then Dylan Thompson 35.8 seconds further back. So interesting, Dylan's lost that much time on the open road stage. We sort of expected that might be where the Subaru came into its own a bit.
Just looking like Caleb McDonald through the stage, no sign of worker as another one of the competitors heads up the wrong road. And how long is this going to take them to figure out they've gone the wrong way? Touch more than everyone else. Only a little bit.
Is that potentially Willie Shortus, I think? One of the Timaru teams, or is that...
John Simpson, maybe?
No, I don't... Where you got John Simpson from, mate?
On the entry list there.
No, I think he might be a
non-starter.
Or is that the Australian team, Chris Fitzgerald? It's certainly a few cars starting to appear out of order, which...
Never makes it fun for the commentators.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's Chris Fitzgerald over from Australia.
Just exploring the forest a wee bit.
Yeah. So, question on the live stream: does RallySafe tell you if you are off course? No, it doesn't. I don't believe. To be fair, I've never actually tried being in a car when we've gone off course with RallySafe.
Well, I was going to say, you've certainly been off course.
Yeah.
If we had RallySafe in the rental car, we might have arrived at some of our spots on time, maybe.
The Omega rental car's done us proud, mate. There's no
it's not the rental car that's the problem, I can assure you. It is Chris Fitzgerald, Australian competitor heading over. So
yeah, asked him why last night. He said, best roads, best people. Why would you go anywhere else?
Well, someone else has decided to go for a tiki tour up the wrong way as well. Oh, we got 3 cars. This is going to be interesting. And they've figured out that you want to turn right at that corner.
And he's just going to slot in the middle. That's Willie Shortest rejoining, and that's rejoining in between. Terry Taylor should be in amongst that group with Daff O'Rourke and potentially Alan Garrick. Let's have a look. What do we got there? That's Adrian Jones. So there's some funny business going on here.
Yeah, it is a little bit hard to follow.
And that is Terry Taylor.
Terry's the third in line of stern there.
So formation rallying.
Oh, someone's going to put a dive bomb down at the corner here.
3 wide. Just imagine my escape.
Give me your best SVG impersonation, please.
It's Adrian
Oh,
Jones.
they're all off.
Stop to let them go.
Go on, Terry. Give it one.
Yes.
So this is a little bit of a shake-up because we have seen Terry sit with Daff previously.
Correct.
But for this event, it's Daff in the co-driver's seat.
With Terry driving.
Terry driving, yeah.
But they'll know which side of the car to go to because Daff's car's left-hand drive.
Oh, there you go.
You just leave me to logistics, mate.
Well, the young fella's finished his run this morning, and that's breakfast, which is a thick shake that you'd be proud of, BB.
Oh, yes.
So this this is Mike Matheson, I think. Twitter Vits, Gordon Legg.
Yep. Yeah, Mike was looking forward to downhill and forestry because he said the Vits makes long work of the straights. I think it's probably the best way to put it, the little 1300. So we'll see whether he knows where to go, whether Gordon Legg's pointing him in the right direction. Not a chance. He's going to turn around to the.
He's given it the Austin Powers 63-point turn.
Well, this is the joys of the little Vitz or Yaris or Echo or whichever particular one that might be.
Roller skate with a shell.
Yeah.
Allowed to say that.
And have another go on the handbrake here, Mike. So now he's going to have to try extra hard down the hill.
Jeez, I tell you what, some of Mike's former colleagues are enjoying seeing that. Of course, Mike spent some time with the Volt TV crew over the years, and I tell you what, no prisoners here. Very easy to sit here and cast aspersions on people, isn't it?
Any idea where you might find some sympathy, Budgie?
Yeah, well, having sat in a simulator on Thursday night, finding out firsthand it's not as easy as it looks.
It turns out when the road's straight after the start line, what you do is you go straight, Dale. You don't turn hard right.
Yeah. It's fair to say I wasn't flash on a simulator. I had no idea what I was doing.
It shows you how accurate those simulators are, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. I did clean you all up on the golf, though. The golf simulator. Where there's actually some athleticism required, right?
Yeah, well, it's stuff that no one cares about, mate.
Anyway, that's going to make for a very interesting piece on the post-production show, and yeah, you can all have a good laugh at my expense.
Alright, so next one should be Murray Christopherson. And looks like Gavin Feast might have had an issue in stage 2, been off the road, has now registered a split but dropped some 10 minutes. So it's a real shame for Gav because he was right on Caleb McDonald's tail for that.
On an absolute charge, wasn't he?
That he was.
How high could Darren Galbraith finish this rally, BB?
Well, I'm picking that he, by going the right direction, he sort of bumped himself up the standings a wee way. I suspect better than anyone else off the NZRC team.
Yeah, it's not much.
Not hard, is it? As we see Paul Fraser, Peter Benbrook, the old 240 RS replica. Paul using his experience to navigate his way. It's a big car to get through some of these tight forestry tracks. And starting to learn the car a little bit, but
it looks suspiciously slow too, to be fair. Have I got that wrong as well? But
it's interestingly, Darren Galbraith split right on Josh Keeley's pace in stage 2 as well, so he's certainly on a charge.
Might have just been deceiving.
In fact, it's 0.3 of a second slower than Mike Tall.
Wow!
In the 4-wheel drive Evo powered Mirage. So it's not bad going, just quietly.
That's super impressive.
As Paul works his way down the hill. Great to have the drone shots, isn't it? And very kind of the forestry company to chop the trees down as well.
Yeah, that was very nice of them. Only thing they could have done better was give us the bacon buddy for breakfast. We're working on that. Big thanks to everyone involved in putting this event on. Volunteers, people out of bed pretty early this morning. I think Paul just taking it easy at these slippery roads early this morning. So a little bit of a gap opening up in that NZRC 2-wheel drive battle. Bryn Jones to Mackesy, 18.9 seconds quicker on stage 2, Bryn Jones.
Working our way through the field. This is Jay Ritchie, the Toyota Starlet, so another one of the 1300s.
We get to the Rabbage battle.
Yes, family battle. So we got Granddad Carl and grandson Connor, and then brothers from the second generation, I guess we'll call them, Simon and Andrew. Of course, Carl, an icon of rallying in these parts, and a huge part, and well, to be fair, bringing the championship back here back in 2018. Now just enjoying the event as a competitor. So he should be next in the escort. Yeah, just
the last 5 cars.
Start having a look at some of the class battles, and as you say, Bryn Jones opening that lead up to 17.5 seconds after stage 2.
That's Simon Rabbage, so we may have lost Carl, have we? So it's definitely the Suzuki Swift there of Simon and Andrew Rabbage. Surely he's not going to go the wrong way. Yes!
Well, sort of. Did he actually join the wrong road?
Yeah, he might have got away with that.
He's not done it right.
I'm pretty sure that's not the optimal line through there.
No.
Yeah, someone asked it on the live stream if there's an arrow at that junction where a few have gone straight ahead. There might have been. I think Clinky took it with him, along with the tape.
Should be some warning arrows there, and there's one further down the hill. Like, they're definitely out, and that junction I would very much suspect have one. I haven't actually been that far up the stage, as much as I,
You can go for your morning walk this morning.
No. Actually, sort of went past the jog.
Can I just point out that we had the opportunity to sleep in for an extra hour this morning if we walked a K up the road to get to this vantage point.
Yeah, actually, there's Carl there, so there's a family. That could have been a family photo right there. And can I also say that you were very quick to say I made the right decision.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah. I didn't get this physique by working hard, I tell you that much.
Who put the signs up?
Oh, that one wasn't me. I did the top one. I nailed mine into a tree stump.
So we see Carl Rabbage.
Look, the MRF ones are still standing.
Yeah, well done, Chris.
Silly what? Pay peanuts, get monkeys.
So we see Pat Norris. So, of course, he was third in the historic class at Otago, and it was quite an interesting battle between the little Toyota AE86. You had Mike Cameron in the Lancer, and Paul Fraser in the Sylvia 240 RS. But Pat's found the right road, and he's about to come into shot. Tucks it in just nicely.
You spoke to him, I think, last night at the start ramp. Enjoying this a little more than he was the Vits?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's been a lot of work going into getting this car running. Obviously, quite different, and the AE86 is a great, fun little rally car. And I think for him to get on the podium first time out was a bit of a dream come true.
So a couple more cars to finish. We should see the husband and wife crew of Alan and Mike Cameron, or Mike and Helen Cameron, Mitsubishi Lancer.
See, that's a good point. She gave me some lollies last night, and I'm just trying to think where
I popped my minty in my mouth just as Hedgie tapped me on the shoulder and says, let's go and do some TV interviews. So I was talking to Ben Hunt with a mouthful of minty.
So, Ben... so we see Mike and Helen. Little Evo on what is its farewell tour.
Yeah, that's definitely the farewell tour, right?
Yep. So all we got out of them last night was it'll be Helen's last year and the car's last year, but Mike does have an EX Turbo, so watch this space. In the championship anyway. So let's just see. Hopefully they get this junction right. Can you imagine? Yes, no. Oh. Well, they didn't leave the road.
Yeah. Again, not the optimal way to approach that corner, but they didn't go off-road. Or down the wrong road. Or maybe it's an escape road, I don't know. Oh, dear.
was going to say, can you imagine the domestics between the husband and what? I said right.
Just don't do it.
It's like travelling with Dale Budge. I told you 3 metres before the corner at 100 kilometres an hour, just go right there. Don't worry about the oncoming traffic.
I'm working with monkeys. So Mike and Helen.
Helen, the defending historic
Yes.
co-driver champion too.
Yes.
So.
Well, he was pretty impressive, Mike, at Otago.
He was pushing on
He
hard,
looked like he was
wasn't he?
pushing real hard, yeah.
So just getting confirmation that we won't be seeing Jack Stokes. That car is still stopped in the stage.
So we should have one more car, I think. Kevin Brocky would be it. Two out of its.
Daryl McManus, she's staying at our hotel.
I can see the car at the top of the hill there. So the battery might have gone on the drone. So we're not going to know if Kevin makes the correct turn at the junction. Now we could be really efficient and wait here and try and see someone tow Jack Stokes' car out. Or we could make our way back and get some breakfast.
Yeah, I suspect it'll be a while because I'll be waiting for Robbie to service and then...
Oh, yeah, of course, yes.
So I suspect that your chances of happening are somewhere between slim and very minimal, put it politely.
So, yeah, we'll be off to special stage 6 for live stream. That's the Southburn stage. Gets underway about 12:30 this afternoon. So I look forward to doing this all again.
Get your Sammys ready.
Sammy's ready, yeah. Scones in the oven. So the competitors will be just heading to the start of Special Stage 3, Ben Hunt and Co. Mount Gay Road, the last of the first loop this morning. Then off to the service at Cave. And then another 3-stage loop, which will be at the last of them, Special Stage 6, Southburn. And then another service at Temuka on those last 2 stages. The second run through this one, Kakahu Forest Orua. And then Levels Raceway as we see Kevin Brocky make his way towards us. Safely navigates the last couple of corners of the stage, past our MRF signs and off into the distance.
So, of course, huge thank you to Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage from the end of Kakahu Forest Tahi, the opening stage of the South Canterbury Hydraulics South Canterbury Rally.
Yep, and we'll look forward to having you join us in a couple of hours' time when we get ready for Special Stage 6 Southburn around about 12:30 this afternoon. Until then, take care.
Another car. There's another car coming.
We have got one more car working its way down the hill. Don't run on it. These are highlights. These are highlights. Stand by. Catch you later, team.
That's brilliant. I love that. Fucking return is the best thing ever.